Hi, I am MedioCore. I have an IQ of 70 at best, and in this video I will try to explain the entire storyline of Dark Souls 1 with all of my brain power, so that you too can try to understand. Let's get into it. In the beginning, there was nothing, except fog and ancient immortal dragons. Everything just was. This era was called the Age of Ancients, and it was about to come to an end because out of nowhere there was fire, the first flame. This marked the start of the Age of Fire, and with it came disparity, heat and cold, life and death, my father and loving me. At the dawn of fire, 4 great souls were found. These souls were called the Lord Souls. The Gigachats who found these Lord Souls were known as the Witch of Izalith, that cocking font who turns into the Bed of Chaos boss fight, Nido, who is definitely not Hades, Lord Gwyn, who is definitely not Zeus, and Pygmy Girl, who is definitely not interested in you. The Lord Souls granted them great strength, and they did what one normally does when acquiring immense power. A war against the immortal dragons unfolded, which without context sounds like a pretty idiotic endeavor. To make matters worse, Gwyn's eldest son sided with the dragons, which went a little something like this.
Dad, your war against the dragons is stupid. They are immortal, therefore I am siding with them.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Luckily for Gwyn, there was Seath the Skillless. He was bullied relentlessly for not having skills, which is the source of the dragon's immortality. One day, Seath the dragon had had enough and told Gwyn that lightning was the dragon's only weakness. Upon hearing this, Gwyn is like, with that, Gwyn and his bros have won the war. To reward Seath for coming in clutch with his Deus Ex Machina betrayal, Seath is awarded a dukedom, a castle, and a part of Gwyn's Lord Soul. After the war, life in the Age of Fire was pretty chill, but with fire came disparity. A beginning must have an end, the worst channel must have the best subscribers, and an Age of Fire must have an Age of Dark. And thus, the fire of the first flame started fading. Upon discovering this, the Witch of Izalith is like, I'll just make a new one. Naturally, she spontaneously combusts on the spot, and instead of making a new flame, she creates demons and fire magic, and also turns into the best designed boss in Soulsborne history. Gwyn, now painfully aware that the time of his age was running out, sought ways to artificially extend the Age of Fire. He left his home in Anor Londo, and left it in the care of his son Gwendolyn, who was raised as a daughter because he was born under the moon or something.
This kid just hit her.
I'm just laying there and I'm like, yo, what the just happened?
We're all heated at this point. We're like, we can't believe that happened. Like, I never seen that in my life. A guy's gonna punch a female in the face. It's crazy.
Gwyn has another daughter, Gwynevere. For reasons beyond my comprehension, I do not seem capable of recalling any of her lore.
Stop it. Get some help.
To stave off the Age of Dark, bonfires were linked to the first flame. These bonfires can be kindled with humanity. All human beings are made human by their humanity. Which, according to the wiki, looks like a black sprite with blank white eyes. According to me, it looks like your mother's arschloch. To prevent the first flame from dying out, Gwyn sacrificed himself and used his body and Lord Soul as fuel for the first flame. In extending the Age of Fire beyond its intended time, Gwyn inadvertently unleashed the undead curse. Bearers of the undead curse are branded with the dark sign. Those branded with the dark sign cannot die, but instead resurrect at the nearest bonfire. Every time an undead dies, it costs them a part of their soul. This process is called hollowing. When an undead is fully hollow, they will become hostile and dum-dums, attacking anything on sight. There is only one way to combat hollowing. Hollowing can be reversed by fueling the bonfires with your mother's arschloch. During the events of Dark Souls 1, undeads are treated as social piranhas and are exiled to the Undead Asylum to await Judgment Day, which might not be too far off because centuries after Gwyn linked the first flame, the fire is once again fading, and an Age of Dark is approaching fast. You, the player, are one of those undeads branded by the dark sign. The game starts off with you chilling in your jail cell, while an unknown figure frees you from your captivity. Minutes later, your savior is died, just like you will, multiple times during this journey. In the world of Dark Souls, time is convoluted. Multiple universes can coexist at the same time. Basically, everything has already happened, and nothing has happened. This means that whatever happened in your playthrough is just as canonically in mine. Bottom line, if I were to make an intellectually challenged naked man called Thick Tantor, who does not have the brainpower to differentiate shield from weapon, and his life mission is to gain clout on TikTok, he'd be just as viable as a hero like anyone else.
Like, I never seen that in my life. A guy's gonna punch a female in the face. It's crazy.
Thick Tantor's journey starts off in the Undead Asylum, where he faces off against the Asylum demon. After which, he finds out that there's a prophecy that one day a chosen undead will make a pilgrimage from the Asylum. All we have to do is ring the damn bell. So Thick Tantor sets off, but unfortunately gets mauled to death by an eagle. But since he is undead, he can just try again until he succeeds and he lands safely in the land of Lordran. There, a visibly confused homeless man tells him where to find the Bells of Awakening. One is in the parish above, another in a blood book found deep below. This sounds like quite the endeavor, so Thick Tantor needs to up his arsenal. After upgrading his weaponry, he sets off to find the undead parish. On his way there, he finds a demon that is no match for a skilled fighter. Unfortunately, we are nothing of the sort. After numerous attempts, we force our way through and meet a man that makes us question everything we thought we knew about our own sexuality.
If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me.
Yes, Soler of Astora explains how time is convoluted in Lordran, which is why our worlds are intertwined in the first place. He then gives us an item that allows us to write racial slurs on the ground and also engage in jolly cooperation. At the top of the church there are 2 gargoyles, and what kind of gargoyles would they be if they did not come to life and start beating the shit out of you? Your triumph is rewarded with the ability to ring a church bell. On the way down, you'll notice a guy T-posing in a corner. Not too much to say about him, except that his demeanor does not match the noise he makes when he laughs. Now, it's time for the descent into Blighttown. There are 2 ways to go about this. You can go through the undead burg into the depths and towards the Blight. You can also do it the right way. In the depths of the marsh, you will find Chaos Witch Quelaag, a daughter of the Witch of Isolith. This is easily one of the brass bosses in Dark Souls 1, sparking a flame of passion in the community.
It always makes me laugh. Top half very nice, bottom half, well, my gone. My shield is not the only thing that's hard. My sword is also very hard. Wow, I really should not be sticking my in that. However,
we are duty bound to overcome obstacles such as these, and after this fight we'll find the second bell. Has all our work been worth it? Ringing the second bell opens a secret sex dungeon and spawns in a talking snake. So I'd say, without a shadow of a doubt, yes, the talking snake is called Frampt, the primordial snake. Frampt believes that it is your destiny to succeed Lord Gwyn, using your own soul to link the first flame and prolong the Age of Fire. He then urges you on to visit Anor Londo, since you can only fulfill your destiny if you acquire the Lord Vessel. You can also feed him shit. The only way to get to Anor Londo is through Sans Fortress, which is like a funhouse for masochists. So if you enjoy Dark Souls, you're gonna feel right at home. After many trials and tribulations, we can finally skill Sans Fortress. The difficulty of our task ramps the fuck up in Anor Londo, mostly because of this inhumane sockcocker. Another obstacle in Anor Londo is one of the most iconic boss fights in Soulsborne history, Unseen in Smoke. The Slim Boy will hunt you down with fast spear attacks while the fat bastard knocks you down with slow hits of his executioner's hammer. If your idiotic ass is even capable of taking one of them down, the other will just absorb his powers and come back full health with a new moveset. Whatever reward you get from this fight, it had better be good. And that it is. You're rewarded with meeting Guinevere. Not only is she quite a looker, she also gives value to an otherwise useless item.
Oh, that's hot.
So Guinevere gives you the Lord Vessel, and then asks you to succeed Lord Gwyn by giving your body and soul to the First Flame to prolong the Age of Fire. Unfortunately, my body and soul already belong to Jesus Christ, so fuck out of here with that shit. To make matters worse, it turns out that Guinevere was just an illusion made by Gwendolyn. I personally cannot let it stand that someone would use a big titty giantess to manipulate me into doing their bidding, so we are going to have a little chat.
A guy's gonna punch a female in the face.
After beating a sickly and frail child into the ground and also playing Dark Souls, it is revealed that Gwendolyn used illusions to hide the fact that the Age of Dark might be closer than we thought. We are running out of time, so let's wrap this up quickly. There are 4 great souls that we need to use to unblock the way to the First Flame. Luckily, we already know some of them from the intro that we skipped. Seath, the immortal and skillless dragon, who is not so immortal once we break his primordial crystal. Nido, the first of the dead who is about to die again. The Witch of Isolith, who has since turned into the Bat of Chaos, and it's up to us to put her to sleep. There's just one more piece of the puzzle. After euthanizing a puppy for fun, we can go into the Abyss. Here, 4 kings reside that were given a piece of Gwyn's soul before they turned evil. After that, it's time for a final confrontation with Lord Gwyn. Instead of being a formidable and mighty opponent, Gwyn feels a lot weaker than most foes you have faced thus far. Gwyn is just a hollow shell of his former self. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, what eons of zero does to a motherfucker. It feels more like putting a suffering dog down than an actual fight. Luckily, we have experience with that. At the end of the battle, you are faced with a choice. You can either link the First Flame or let the fire fade and usher in the Age of Dark. Now, you might be asking why it wouldn't be a good idea to link the First Flame. Shouldn't life be preserved at all costs? But what if life is nothing more than a handful of doomed souls hanging onto a false promise of salvation? The world of Dark Souls is not a nice place, it's dangerous and inhospitable. Would it not be better to let all of this end? At what point is a world damaged beyond repair? At what point do we accept that it might not get better? At what point do we let go. Which leads me to my final point. Dark Souls is not a metaphor for depression, as many say it is. It's a metaphor for late stage balding and choosing to have a comb over or a clean shave. If you like this horseshit, why not check out the one I made for Witcher 3? I guarantee it's one of the videos ever made.